All right, we're live down here at the City Hall, and I'm sitting here talking to my good friend, Mayor Stephen Tyler Holman. Dude, rock on. Nobody's on here right now, but they're going to have to watch the rewatch because you have been just kicking it. Now, I've got to tell everybody, you're the first mayor that I've followed so closely, and right now, I love what you're doing. First month, you've hit the ground wide open, brother. Now, we've got a lot to cover, so everybody share this one, okay? This is Stephen, right on. I've just known you for 10 years, right?
Yeah, about that long, yeah.
Okay. I got to tell people how I met you. Stephen doesn't know that he inadvertently got me going in my activism for cannabis. Because this is great. 10 years ago, I was sitting there and I was waking and baking, and I opened up an orange transcript paper. And it said, City Councilman busted.
Yeah.
And dude, your face was on there. He was not happy either. I mean, and I said, and I figured it was going to be the usual city councilman deal where they were bribes or something like that. No, dude, you got popped for pipes. See, Stephen worked at the friendly market, and you just walked in there one morning, and you just opened up as regular. You sold, now I can say the word now, you sold bongs, you sell water pipes, all kinds of different things like that. Walked in there and 5-0 Popo sent in undercover there. Undercover bought pipes from you, walked out, cops come in and popped your ass. What BS! I saw that and I said, oh man, I was so upset. Now, do you think Stephen just sat back and said, okay, I'm sorry, Mr. 5-0, you got me walking? No. Dude rented a U-Haul truck that afternoon after he posted bond, and he drove to Texas, picked up another load of pipes, come back up here, load the store, opened the next day. Boom! Right on, brother, right on. I love that. Kicks ass.
Actually flew to Austin, Texas at 5 a.m.
Oh, you did?
The next morning, and then I rented a van and drove back to Norman that night.
That is so cool, man.
With a load full of inventory that some suppliers in Austin gave us after we told them what happened. So they put together whatever they had lying around for us.
Dude, that is cool.
Gave it to us on consignment.
Yep.
And said pay us back whenever you get.
And opened back up now. You could not help with 788 because see that I started getting in 788 and stuff. You were under indictment.
Well, we had already won our case as far as the criminal case when the petition for 7088 was circulated. But we had just reopened the store, and we were
new location on Ford.
New location, right? And we were definitely concerned about retribution from the police,
right.
And we were concerned about having the petition in the store and them trying to use that as the it's not marijuana, but you're promoting marijuana while you're selling pipes.
Right.
And at that time, that was still what the law
So
was.
I actually tried to keep the petition, and people from hassling you too, because I talked to Stephen. I said, dude, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm one of them people. I've been arrested before too, so I dig it. And a lot of my friends dig it too. So we've been popped. We know what it's like. So we kept the petition out of your store. Now you did win your case, and the cops had to do what?
They had to return everything that they'd taken in the 2 raids that they conducted on Friendly Market. Because after we restocked and reopened after the first raid, they came back 2 weeks later and raided the store.
Again.
And so we didn't restock after that, but we stayed open for about another 6 months. The community was so supportive.
Oh yeah, right on. Norman's very supportive,
yeah. Bipartisan, conservatives, liberal, everybody was kind of like, why does the Norman police care about this?
There you go, yeah.
And especially there is no marijuana involved in it, so there wasn't even an illegal substance. It was just the pipes, and so most people thought it was a waste of time, effort of a police department. So, but yeah, once we realized the legal case was going to go on for a while, that's when we made the decision to close the original store. We put everything in storage, with the belief that we would win and that we would be able to reopen the store. So we closed Friendly Market on May 1st, 2016, and then reopened on October 21st, 2017, a year and a half later.
Right. Yeah,
after we won.
That's a long downtime to be unemployed and stuff. Hey, that's what HOPO does to you. You know, they can sit you shut you down like that.
Well, thankfully, the owner of Friendly Market, Robert, has another business.
Oh, okay.
And
cool.
He let me work there while Friendly Market was closed. So
I'm trying. I've ordered a T-shirt too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got my T-shirt yet.
You shop by OC Press today while you're downtown.
Okay, yeah.
On Main Street. Stop by and see what's
Yeah, because what's the T-shirt say?
My mayor works the door to die for.
I love that, man. I love that. See, on Friday night art walks that you've done here, I'm getting up, me. Ping.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Now, whenever you won your case on the pipes, the cops had to do what?
They had to return all of it to us.
Return every pipe in the same condition they got them from you, too, right?
I don't know that was an official stipulation, and not all of them did come back in the shape that they left. But I mean, they took about 1,000 items, and I would say 10 of them came back and were broken. So,
okay. So now
I wouldn't say there was an intent to damage.
Yeah, right.
They could have destroyed all of them.
They could have, yeah. But now you've basically got a display case at Friendly Market on Porter of what is legal in Oklahoma, the pipes.
Yep.
So you and Friendly Market set a precedence for every glassware seller in Oklahoma of what I take my hat off to you, dude. That's right on. I do, Rick. You set a precedence, and this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah, and a big highlight of the case. I mean, not only were there 3 criminal trials in front of juries for 2 of the clerks that worked at the store, and then the owner and myself went on trial together. Even though I was just the general manager, I received the same charges as the owner. And so he and I went on trial together for 6 days, started on a Monday morning and ended the following Monday night. And we faced 26 combined charges.
Wow.
A felony each for the money that was in the store they took and claimed it was drug proceeds. Yep. And because it was in a cash register, it was concealment of drug proceeds.
We don't have any stacked charges, brother. You bet.
So I, never would have thought in my life I'd be a defendant in a felony trial over glass pipes, and not even any drugs or illegal substances.
Exactly.
Violent crime, nothing. And so, Robert and I were facing, if we had been convicted of all the charges and given the maximum sentence for all of them, we could have been facing 35 years in prison for just working in a store that sold drugs.
That's what I try to warn all my bud tenders if they're working and they're selling illegal products. I said, look, you're going to get popped for this too. Don't turn this stuff.
Yeah, and so in our case, we had a jury of 12, which is the case in a felony trial, and after 6 days, there were probably 15 witnesses that testified for the state, multiple police officers. We put on one single witness the very last day of the trial. He testified for about an hour, and he is a expert from Colorado in smokable herbs and devices to smoke things out of.
There you go. Cool.
And he testified about all the legal smokable herbs that exist and how people consume them.
There you go.
And he testified that in his expertise, that glass is the safest and cleanest device to smoke any substance out of, because glass does not off-gas like wood and aluminum does, and it is not porous, so you don't get mold and mildew like you do in a wooden pipe. And so, and it's the easiest to clean. The only downside, of course, of glass is that it's fragile.
Right.
So, but other than that, glass is the cleanest, safest device to smoke any substance out.
I agree.
And so that was his testimony, and our lawyers even debated on whether to even put him on the stand because the trial had gone so well.
Right.
And sometimes you might have more to lose by putting a witness on the stand.
Yeah, sometimes
they get cross-examined and they mess up. So anyway, the jury deliberated for about 5 hours and found us not guilty of all 26 charges.
Now, was that a jury of Norman people?
It was a jury of Cleveland County.
Cleveland County, okay.
Yes.
Well, see, I've got I'm from Ward 5 out here, And the thing about Norman, whenever they were voting on 788, I love this because they set it up on an off
June.
vote time. Some awards in Norman passed 100% because 3 or 4 people voted.
Oh, some of the precincts, yes.
Precincts.
In Norman as a whole, it passed by 72. Well, no, it passed right around 70%.
There you go.
In Ward 4, which we're in, Central Norman, it passed by 87%.
There you go.
In my city council district that I represented before becoming mayor, Ward 7, it passed by 83%. And I think the lowest percent of all 8 wards was 64%.
Okay.
And actually in Ward 5. Which you would think would be people that would be
the people out there that want to grow, yeah.
Right, but I think there's a little bit of a
but I've been
partisan political views.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Versus
and then move where you voted and stuff like that.
And so I think Republicans typically don't support marijuana legalization. That ward is more Republican, but at the same time, that ward is typically more, we don't want the government in our business. So
that's
interesting,
yeah.
But it still passed by 64% in Ward 5, even though so I would,
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
A lot of Republicans did vote for it.
There you go.
So yeah, it passed overwhelmingly in Norman, and I mean, to whose surprise, really, everybody.
Yeah, it didn't surprise me.
That was part of our case too, was that Norman's the 3rd largest city in the state.
Yep.
130,000 plus people, major university. So, I mean, who's surprised that a college town is cannabis friendly?
Yeah, there you go.
People that live in a college town,
even though they're not growing it in the dorms,
right? So yeah, no surprise that Norman would be supportive of that. And yeah, during our case, people just couldn't understand why the police department in a city this size
wasted so much money
would even have time to spend on a little tiny store that had 3 employees. And I think a good day for us was like if we made $350 a day, that was a great day.
That's
for the market back then. So
see, people don't realize the traffic. The traffic's just not there.
And in our case, the juries in all 3 of the trials there were no illegal substances involved. There was no drugs, no nothing.
Right.
Other than the police, the Norman police and the district attorney here, their view was glass pipes are illegal to exist.
Wow.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what substance you put in them, they are illegal to exist, to possess. They're illegal, period.
Right.
Because there's only one thing that they can be used for, and that's marijuana.
Marijuana.
And that was their whole case.
Right.
Was we know what these are for based on our the lead detective. His whole mantra the whole time was based on my training and experience of 28 years as a police officer and a detective. I've never seen these pipes used for anything other than the consumption of marijuana.
Well, dude.
And so even during the case, one of our attorneys asked him on the witness stand, so if I take this pipe and I walk 50 feet out the courthouse door and I put tobacco in it and I light this up and you drive by, what are you going to do? And the detective said, well, I would stop, I would investigate, and I would cite you for possession of drug paraphernalia and probably arrest you.
Wow.
Because it doesn't matter what substance you have. The
assuming
substance is irrelevant. The pipe is illegal no matter what you use it for. That was their view. Now, of course, that is not the state law. It was never the state law. There is actually a 12-step process in the state law on what determines drug paraphernalia. There's 12 steps, and you have to take the item and take the 12 steps and apply each step to it to determine if it was drug paraphernalia or not. And they could not meet any of the criteria. And their best option was that there's no other use for these pipes other than marijuana, so there's no other intent you could have had besides promoting the use of marijuana with these pipes, because we all know what they're for. And so the whole case hinged on what our intent was, and what the law says on that. And their view was there is no other intent that exists other than marijuana. So therefore, even if you don't have marijuana, even if you don't have pot posters and Bob Marley and anything in the store that's promoting marijuana, even if we don't have you on video, which they tried, saying
Bong, yeah, I know they tried, yeah.
Bong or marijuana or whatever, it doesn't matter. The pipe is illegal, therefore the only reason you're selling it is for illegal purpose. So that was their whole case.
And that's all changed now because of you and Friendly Market and your lawyers. Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks to the juries. The jury did not buy it. There was this one woman on the jury who I would describe as a libertarian politically. She sat in the very front row, the seat closest to the jury box too, and you could just see the look on her face the entire trial. Like how upset she was. She was having to sit through this and watching all these police officers parade through here and all this overtime they were probably getting paid and all this time and effort. And so yeah, after 5 hours they found us not guilty of all of the charges, and we walked out of the courthouse free. And we were hoping that would be the end of it, but as you know, that was not the end of it.
No.
And there were still pending charges against Robert from the second raid as the owner, and there was still pending charges against one of the clerks who went on trial because his trial was a mistrial.
Oh, God.
Six-member jury, 5-1, but it has to be unanimous. We talked to the jury members afterwards. 5 of them were for not guilty. 1 of them wanted to convict him.
Yeah.
There were some reasons we found out.
Oh,
why.
yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
But so the DA, after Robert and I were found not guilty, the DA came out the next day and said nothing's changed. It's still illegal, and we are going to continue pursuing the case against the other charges against Robert Cox, and we are going to retry that clerk for that. And the clerk's charge is just 1 charge, misdemeanor possession of drug paraphernalia.
Oh, dude.
And
that should have been a plea bargain.
And he could have, but he chose not to.
He would have
He's like,
I'm not guilty, right?
That's right. And he
there you go.
Maintained, I'm not pleading guilty to
I
anything.
love that. I'm not pleading guilty because I'm not
all
guilty.
All four of us.
Right on.
We are not pleading guilty to this.
See, they didn't cop the plea. They could have copped the plea, but no.
Yeah, no jail time. It would have been like a year of probation for Max and Cody.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But it would have
been detrimental. And it's still on your record and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
You've heard all charges now, right?
Yes, all the charges were cleared. About a month after Robert and I were found not guilty, former state representative and then head of the Oklahoma ACLU recently passed away, unfortunately, Ryan Kiesel. He was in the state legislature when the current statutes on drug paraphernalia were written in the early mid-2000s, and he got involved after Robert and I were found not guilty, after the DA declared that he was going to keep pushing it. So Ryan got involved, and the ACLU of Oklahoma did a kind of click here petition, sends an email to the district attorney's office, and they started it on a Friday afternoon, and that next Monday morning, the district attorney announced he was dropping the remaining charges against Robert. He was dropping the charges against Max, the clerk, that they were going to return all the money that they had taken from us, but they were not going to return all the property they took from us. That it was drug paraphernalia, that the jury just found us not guilty of possessing it, but they did not determine whether it was drug paraphernalia.
So it still hadn't set the precedence.
Still not, nope. And so we have a district court hearing in July 5th, so 2 months after Robert and I were found not guilty of all criminal charges. We go to district court here in Cleveland County in front of Judge Stice, and we have a hearing on the pipes and all the property they had taken, and whether they should be returned to us or not. And the county, the state district attorney's office argued that these are drug paraphernalia. The juries found them that they weren't in possession of it, which we were clearly in possession.
Yeah.
There's pictures of us holding them in the paper. It's like we were in possession of them. There's no doubt.
No doubt. You can trust me.
But that was their argument is, and this gets into civil asset forfeiture. They filed forfeiture proceedings to keep the property.
Right.
And their claim was, this is drug paraphernalia. We can't legally give these back and put these back out on the street. And This is a civil matter now in a forfeiture case. As the state, we do not have to prove that these pipes are drug paraphernalia.
Oh,
Mr.
dude.
Cox has to prove that they aren't. In order
So
to get
no longer are you innocent until proven guilty.
And that is why I just adamantly oppose civil asset forfeiture.
You bet. You bet.
There's no exception to me. There's no caveat that can make it okay.
No,
It's completely not okay.
Off the table. Yeah.
It cannot be trusted.
Right.
You cannot give law enforcement a financial incentive to take people's property, and that's what civil asset forfeiture is.
That's it. Yeah.
We don't have enough tax revenue. Well, let's take people's property.
You know, sell his car. You know.
And the fact that they can argue that you have to hire an attorney. So, if the police take $5,000 from you, you got $5,000 in your pocket. You just won $5,000 at the casino, and you got it in cash, and you're driving home, you get pulled over, and the police think it's suspicious, and they want to take it from you. So you will have to go hire an attorney, and you will have to prove that that money is not, and you should be able to. It's from the casino, but whatever.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to.
Still going to have to prove.
What if that attorney costs you more than $5,000?
Exactly.
Are you going to spend $10,000 to get your $5,000
to get back? Yeah. What's the point? Yeah.
So that's the kind of game that's played in that. And so, adamantly oppose civil asset forfeiture based on my own personal experience with it, and the fact that I firsthand witnessed the state argue, we don't have to prove that this is, you have to prove it is.
There you go, yeah.
Back. Thankfully, Judge Stice did not agree with that. And in his comments, he said, out of these 1,000 pieces of evidence, I would have to, under state law, have to look at each one of them individually and apply the 12-step state process to each one of them to determine if they are drug paraphernalia or not. And basically, based on the fact that we've had 3 criminal trials, 0 convictions, and on my interpretation of the law, when in doubt, you return property to the rightful owner, and there's no argument that Robert Cox is the rightful owner of this property, so I'm ordering that it all be returned to Robert Cox.
Cool, man, right on.
That wasn't the end of it, though.
No, of course not. Of course not.
So there was a 10-day appeal window for the state to appeal that ruling, and they waited till the 10th day on a Friday, and filed the appeal to the state Supreme Court, asking for emergency injunctive relief, called Judge Stice a derelict of duty for not ruling on whether it was drug paraphernalia or not, and that they could not be forced to put drug paraphernalia back on the street, and they weren't going to do it.
And so they just want to take their ball and go home.
They wanted the Supreme Court to compel Judge Stice to determine if every single item was drug paraphernalia or not, and they wanted them to overturn his ruling.
Right. Talk about some reefer madness.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
oh yeah. All of this effort,
all of this,
at this point, it's been going on for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And we've had 3 criminal trials, 0 convictions. Public opinion is way on our side. It's 99%.
Yeah.
Right before Robert and I went on trial, I got reelected to city council by 79% of the vote, something like that. It was, and then I got voted best elected official in the Norman Transfer Reader's Choice Awards.
That's right.
Cool.
So it's like the public is so overwhelmingly not on board with this, but the district attorney's office just would not stop.
Would not give it up. Yeah.
They couldn't believe that they had lost. And for District Attorney Greg Mashburn, that was not something he when he runs for re-election, which he's now resigned, but yeah, that's right. And but he would tout his conviction rate, his high conviction rate, which is an illusion anyway. It's all plea deals and stuff. They don't want to go to trial, because when they go to trial and they go up against attorneys like we had, which were just a small town law firm from McAllister, Oklahoma, Wagner and Lynch.
There you go.
Attorneys in law.
We need to mention them because
ever need really good trial attorneys in the state of Oklahoma. Wagner and Lynch, Brecken Wagner and Blake Lynch, they are the best. The district attorneys here in Cleveland County and the police that were just no match for them. And these guys are just small town attorneys. They drive pickup trucks. They don't wear nice suits. They're kind of polar opposites politically views, but they are such a great team and work so well together. And yeah, they were just it was like a professional team playing against a middle school football.
There you go.
That's what it looked like to me. And so thankful for them and the DKT Liberty Project. I got to mention them out of Virginia. They're a nonprofit, and they are who paid all of our defense fees.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, about $500,000 worth of
See,
expenses.
people don't, people in Oklahoma don't realize how the entire nation is really looking at us right now.
Yeah.
Because of what all we're doing. 788 passed, right on. We got 837 running right now. Got a lot of stuff going on in the state. And
and it's, a lot has happened, and like
dude, I'm so glad I was around for it, man. You just rock.
And thankfully too, in our case, the Supreme Court did take it up, and what was funny is we went to the state Supreme Court for a hearing that August 2017, and now 3 months after we've been found not guilty of criminal charges, and went to the Supreme Court. And if you've ever been in the Oklahoma Supreme Court building,
yeah, we have
big giant peace pipe.
Peace pipe.
You walk up,
you're gonna say it.
Yes. And so
Beautiful.
I take a picture of it.
It's beautiful.
And Brianna Bailey, she was working for the Oklahoman then, and she covered the whole trial. She did a bunch of sketches of the trial because they wouldn't allow any pictures or video in the court.
Oh yeah, I got thrown out of the Supreme Court. Yeah, I remember that.
So Brianna, she took a picture of me taking a picture of that
Still sitting there to this day.
Yeah, and that was on the cover of the Oklahoman, and just the juxtaposition about this case being about pipes, and the fact that there is a pipe on the state flag, and there's pipe.
Yeah, exactly. There's a pipe on the flag.
That pipe
used to be. Yeah.
That pipe that's in the Supreme Court under the definition of drug paraphernalia, according to the Norman Police Department and the District Attorney in Cleveland County, that would be drug paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Just by its mere existence.
It's on a flag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and the physical one that's sitting.
Here's another one down at Lake Murray. There's an opium pipe on display down there.
Oh, yeah.
It's been on display for 40, 50 years. I've never seen it forever.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
just heritage.
Yeah, it's a huge opium pipe, too, you can tell.
And then, thankfully, though, at that point, we really didn't know what was going to happen. The legal system moves pretty slow most of the time, and didn't know what the Supreme Court of Oklahoma. We knew that if they took this case, if they heard the arguments, if they took the case up, it could be a year or more. So we'd still be out of business for another year. And thankfully, though, on September 10th, so a little bit, about a month after we went up there, Supreme Court of Oklahoma issued a unanimous ruling upholding Judge Stice's lower court ruling, ordering them to return all of our property. And so that was signed by the Supreme Court, and then then took another month for the whole paperwork process. Yeah. So on October 10th, our lawyers came in from McAllister, and we drove over to the.
I was going to say, who brought the pipes back to you?
Yeah, we took their truck over to the Norman Investigation Center and backed it up and loaded it up with about 20 boxes.
That is cool.
Marked friendly market drug paraphernalia. And during that time, while we were waiting from the Supreme Court ruling to the actually getting the stuff back, we began looking for storefronts and locations where we could reopen the store. Right. The original location was no longer available, and I wanted to reopen Friendly Market in downtown or Campus Corner.
I love downtown. Yeah.
And so we were just driving around one day, saw the for rent sign on that space, called the guy, and we had visited several storefronts, and people had told us no.
Really?
So we don't want to. We're like, here's a thing. We just won this case. We were pipe store, and they're like, we don't want to.
Don't want to mess with it.
Don't want to mess with it. Some of which later on have dispensaries in them.
There you go. That's it.
They wouldn't rent to us as a pipe store, but then, but we called this one up on Porter. Called the guy up who owned it, and he and his wife had just bought it, and old historic building on Porter that had been fixed up a few years ago by a local architect. And I said, hey, we have a pipe store. Went through this whole issue, and he goes, oh, that sounds pretty cool to me. We'd love to have you. So It ended up being a cheaper rent than our original location, which was just a generic strip mall.
Yeah.
It wasn't in a historic nothing. So having an old historic building close to Main Street and downtown, the old historic neighborhoods, on a busy street, people walking by a lot.
There you go.
We signed a lease there, and then when we got all the pipes and stuff back, we drove it over there and just laid them all out on the floor of the store. And we hadn't set anything up yet, so we just laid them all out and went through them all and couldn't remember what all we had even. So
it's been so long, yeah.
And so those pieces, we put an orange sticker on them, and then that's how we restocked the store and reopened, was with all of those items.
Right.
We took the items that there was about 50, 60 pieces that were used as, out of the 1,000 items they took, about 60 of them were used as evidence in the 3 trials. And so we took those and put a different sticker on them. We didn't actually have to put a sticker on them, actually, because there were state exhibit stickers on them.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
State's exhibit number 1, 2, 3, 1B, 1. So we put those in that case you were talking about, which is on display at Friendly Market.
You really need to stop by and see that.
Yeah,
this is so cool.
On Porter here in Norman, there's a showcase that has all the...
What's the address on Porter?
301 South Porter.
301 South Porter. It's easy to find, east side of the road.
Yep,
you know.
Yep. There's plenty of parking, so the back side. So, but yeah, there's a showcase with all the evidence pieces. Most of them, anyway. Some of them are on display at our attorney's office in McAllister.
I don't blame them.
The biggest bong was like that tall. They have that one in their office.
Cool.
And then there's framed newspaper articles from the case. Norman Transcript says it's one of, if not the most covered single story they've ever done. Because there was just so much in it, and
so much
city council member being charged.
But
me being charged with the felony and the headlines that generated, which was national, by the way. The nonprofit in Virginia read about it in the Washington Post. So, and called our attorneys and said, "Hey, we're a nonprofit. We specialize in civil asset forfeiture cases and government overreach, and our objective is helping people defend themselves against the government."
Cool.
So they contacted our attorneys and said their board had already voted that they were willing to help. They were willing to cover the cost of defending this case.
It helped a lot.
Without that, it would have
been bankrupt. Yeah.
We would have had to take a plea deal. There would have been no chance of fighting it.
Right.
I would have not had the same confidence in a public defender as I
have
did.
No idea. We've been with the public defender. Do you trust?
And like I said, they're not big, high-powered, nice suit-wearing attorneys that work in a glass office in OKC. They're just a small-town law firm. So, but it was still expensive to have both of them. Work on 3 trials and a district court hearing and a Supreme Court case. And it's like, but that's part of the strategy of the state, of course.
That is, whenever they bust you,
we know that you can't afford to defend yourself, so we can just stack all this stuff on.
See, we're very familiar because we go up to a lot of court cases. And
you see it all the time.
And stuff. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it should not be allowed, but
it's hard to sit there quietly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we reopened the store on October 21st, 2017, after
it's a dispensary too.
22 months. So the first raid of the store was December 1st, 2015. I worked there for 3 months. And it was nothing like what you see on TV, I'll tell you too. It was, they just came in, it wasn't a big ruckus. They were plain clothes. No guns drawn. They had their guns covered by their shirts, actually. There was no marked police cars. There was just a white van. They just had their badge around a chain on their neck. They weren't yelling and screaming or anything. They just opened the door and said, "Norman Police Department, we have a warrant to search the premises. Anybody that's here, please step out or come to the front or whatever. We're coming in." And then they asked me some questions, and then they were like, "All right, well, we'll give you a call when we're done." And so I went outside and called Robert, and I was like, "Hey, the police are here, and they're raiding the store, and they have a warrant." He came down there, and they wouldn't let him in, and
there you go.
It was a whole deal, and then when they were done, like 5 hours later, they were like, "All right, we're done. So here's the keys and see ya. You'll be hearing from us.
Wow.
And then that's when I flew to Austin the next morning and restocked and everything. So, and it was interesting too when we were charged. It was the next week after the first raid, and it was on a Thursday night or Thursday afternoon at like 4:30, where they issued they filed 13 charges against Robert and myself each, and issued a warrant for our arrest at like 4:30 in the afternoon. So it was too late to actually go try to get it.
Of course they did.
So I was actually working at the store that afternoon. Our attorneys called the store and said, "All right, Stephen, district attorneys decided to file charges against you and Roberts, and they've issued a warrant, so you need to leave the store right now. And don't go home either." So, so Robert and I hid out.
Yeah.
For that night, and they said we arranged for we'll meet you guys at the courthouse at 8 o'clock a.m. tomorrow morning, and we'll
surrender.
Start going through it.
Yeah,
we had to hide out.
Yeah, the right way.
Yeah, we had to hide out that night though. And just hope that they weren't in a different county, and hope they weren't going to come try like raid the place. So, we appeared the next morning, pled not guilty, and then drove ourselves to the county jail and did the fingerprints and walkthrough, and then
they knew who he was. He was a city councilman, so
yeah.
The ward that you ran, right?
The original Friendly Market was in the ward I represented on the city council. That's how I met Robert.
Yeah.
Wow. He called me one day and said, "I own a business that's in your city council district, and I'm being harassed by the police." And
true advocate there.
And he's like, "You might know my daughter. She went to Norman High, and she was a cheerleader. And I played football. I was a grade ahead of her, but I did know who she was." So, but he's like, "You might know my daughter. And anyway, I own a business. Would you be willing to meet with me?"
Well, that's one other thing I want to cover too. You are born and raised in Norman, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Norman is my adopted city. I love it. We've been in it for 35 years. Now you, as the mayor, your first month, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
But you've been so busy the first month, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
I actually ate my sausage biscuit over here at the park.
Okay.
Now I've been noticing all the murals that up over there.
Yeah.
That's great, man. I think that is so cool. And you believe in revitalizing downtown too, right?
Oh yeah. Downtown Norman was dead when I was growing up. In the 90s and early 2000s. I graduated high school in 2004 from Norman High. We were just starting to see a little bit of reinvestment, a couple new businesses. But when I was a senior in high school is when the city came in and redid the sidewalks on Main Street. Just from the railroad tracks to Porter, just for 3 blocks, put in new sidewalks, new decorative light fixtures and benches, and made it look nicer. And then, we started, Guest Room Records came in, we started Mainside Gallery open, and we started seeing some investment in some of the buildings and fixing them up, and some new businesses came in. And then Art Walk started.
There you go, yeah.
And then the Second Friday
Art Walk.
And then Norman Music Festival started in 2008. And more and more investment has been coming. And then about 6 years ago, the city was able to redo the sidewalks on Main Street from the tracks going west to Park Drive. So the 3 blocks west of the tracks. 3 blocks east of the tracks 20 years ago. And then about 6 years ago, they were able to do the 3 blocks to the west. Same thing, lights, sidewalks, all that stuff. And we are seeing real investment in the area. Restaurant, the local just opened last week or 2 weeks ago.
And what was the other one you just taught? See, now that's the thing about you as mayor. You're going to different businesses in town and doing check-ins, saying, I love that, man, because you're highlighting businesses, you're highlighting restaurants, saying what's open. You got a new one coming open, oyster
it's a steak and oyster.
Who was it? Jamil?
Not Jamil's, but started with J, and I've just.
I know it started with J.
But they're planning to open in October, but they're taking over the old McNally's and Inkfire spot, which is next door to Guest Room Records, and gonna make that building their own.
And highlighted the ballet school. People don't know, I used to take ballet when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean there is a lot
going on.
It's great for your balance and stuff. It's it is, And yeah, for downtown, we're redoing Gray Street right now.
Right,
We're redoing the sidewalks.
Trust me, I know you're redoing Gray Street.
And we're converting it back to a two-way street. And so
right on. We've been waiting for that for so long.
A lot of people don't understand the change and why we're doing it, but I mean, the one-way thing was a fad that cities did in the 60s and 70s when downtowns were in severe decline.
Right.
And everybody was moving to the malls and moving, and they needed. One-way streets are great for moving as much traffic as possible, as fast as possible. So if you want downtown to be a place that people just pass through as fast as possible on their way somewhere else, then the one-way street couplet is perfect for that. But if you want downtown to be a destination, which it has become, a place where people are coming to, not going through and out, and you want it to be pedestrian-oriented, and you want visibility, maximum visibility for businesses. Yes. Yeah, a one-way street that's 3 lanes wide encourages people to drive fast, and people aren't looking to see what businesses are around. People aren't looking to see, and people drive carelessly on a one-way street. Especially when it's 3 lanes wide, people cross all 3 lanes at once very carefully.
I've seen it,
I've done it myself. People are looking for a parking spot, they're not paying attention. People also don't look both ways when they turn onto Main Street. They don't look to see if people are walking across the street. Or if somebody's driving the wrong way, which happens every day, all day long, people driving the wrong way.
Okay, my wife actually got pulled over for that.
So
on Gray,
yeah. So we're doing that, and we think it's going to be real positive. All of the data,
I like
research
two-way
shows
streets too, because you go, hey Bob, man, what's going on here?
And traffic gets to. It'll be 1 lane street. You get to cruise.
You get to cruise.
The drag now.
Dude, man. I remember
turn around and come back.
4th Street in Chickasha, man. We were dragging down there.
Every town, and
every town's got their drag.
So it's exciting. We have over $20 million in public investment alone right now in infrastructure improvements just in downtown Norman right now. And then millions more in private investment going on with different businesses and buildings that are getting renovated and stuff. So I've always been a downtown guy. When I go to another place, I want to see what their main street looks like. I don't care what their strip mall and the highway looks like. It has the same chain stores that we have in Norman.
Yeah, exactly.
What does their downtown look like? What does their historic buildings look like? And and some towns don't have a downtown.
I know. See, I'm an Holman. And I've worked in the back of so many of these buildings. And it's so cool back there,
And like Midwest City and Mustang are 2 good examples in the metro area of towns that do not have a downtown.
No, they don't.
They don't have a main street.
I've worked in Mustang when it was a little bitty town and when it started exploding, And you're right.
Their main street is a 5-lane highway that has McDonald's and Walmart, and there's no, not even a little, even Dell City has a little tiny, it's like half a block and a half long that has some old buildings from there, when you can see, that's where Dell City started.
Yeah.
There's no identifiable place where Midwest City or Mustang started, and they don't have any old historic Main Street buildings like so there's something really special about it. Being able to look and see, this is where Norman started. This was the first street, and then everything else.
What is that deal right in front of the German place?
Yeah, yes, that was the first TG&Y.
Yeah, first TG&Y. How cool is that?
I know. And
didn't know I knew that back, did you?
It is really cool to have that kind of history, and that those buildings, many of them are 100+ years old, and are still being used today for very busy businesses. And you see new construction that isn't built worth a damn, and isn't unique, has no character.
Has no character at all.
And like that, when you have a city that is nothing but stuff like that, or if you have a country that is nothing but stuff like that, you create. Those are places people don't care about.
Right.
You create a nation of places people don't care about. What happens? There's nothing worth fighting for, right?
Exactly.
People care about main streets and history and things and places like this. Downtown and Campus Corner are places.
Well, that's why they call me old school.
University of North Park is a big sales tax generator for the city up there, but it's not a place.
It's not.
It's a generic suburban strip mall with corporate chains for the most part that have no connection to Norman. The dollars don't stay here when you spend money there.
Yep.
And it's anywhere USA. If you didn't know where you were at and you were driving by it, you would think you could be in any city on the highway.
You could be, yeah.
And so it's real important. Place is a real important thing to me as a city. And city planning and city infrastructure and stuff like that, architecture, that's how I got interested in city government. That's why I started watching city council meetings when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Is because you would see presentations for development projects.
And they weren't
for
tearing
road
down these old
projects.
buildings. I just go, no.
I know, and it's really difficult because, with private property rights, when somebody owns, if you buy one of these old houses,
You got it.
there's nothing legally that can stop you from tearing it down.
Nope.
The city, we can control what you're able to rebuild. We could control what it is, and to a certain extent, what it looks like, potentially. Like, we could put in, policies that require if you tear it, you have to build it and make it match the same architecture or something like that. But when people get upset about buildings being torn down or old houses, I feel that for sure. But at the same time, you have someone who willingly sells their property to somebody, and that person then tears it down. There's nothing that we can do to stop them from that.
Because what is that one old district over by the, Old Garter District or something?
We have 3 historic neighborhoods in Norman, 3 recognized local historic districts, which is the Southridge Historic District, which is just to the east of Lamont.
Okay, yeah.
And then the Miller Historic District, which is just to the north of Lamont.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of, with the Miller, yeah.
And then the Chautauqua Historic District, which is on the west side of the campus.
Chautauqua.
Yeah.
Okay, I used to talk to people in St. Louis, and you should have heard how they tried to say Chautauqua.
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 Chautauqua. Chautauqua. So yeah, those are the 3 local historic districts, and then we have buildings in downtown Campus Corner that are on the National Register and stuff. But even being on the National Register of Historic Places does not necessarily protect
it. No.
Not if the person who owns it wants to tear it down.
Right.
I mean, so that can be a real challenge if you don't have people that care about that type of stuff, and you have people that own those properties and willingly sell them to people that don't care about that stuff.
There you go.
So that's I'm working on one right now because I work in real estate too. And
well, that's one thing I was going to ask you. What is your vision for Norman?
Well,
because you're going to be the mayor for several times, in my opinion.
Well, primarily what I want to see for Norman is so for me, growing up in this town, raised by a single parent.
I was raised by a single parent too, dude.
In an apartment, I grew up on the east side and all that, and so it's really important to me that Norman remains a place where that's possible.
With those kids, yeah, I understand.
Where single parents can afford to raise kids on their own, where anybody that wants to live in Norman can, and that people that work at all of our retail businesses, all of our restaurants, fast food places, all those people should be able to afford to live in Norman.
I just passed the skate park while I was there. I love it. See, you just didn't have, but that was before you. Yeah. But you probably have something to do with the skate park and set up,
Oh yeah, that was a big.
I know you pushed for that. Yeah.
That was a voter-approved project to get that done, and the Blake Baldwin skate park has a really interesting history about how it came to exist, and a young man, Blake Baldwin, in the late '90s. Coming to City Hall and getting up at the podium and advocating that we needed a place for skating in Norman, because there wasn't one at the time back then. And so he pushed for that, and that's what got the original ramps put in. And we named it after him, and he died of cancer, I believe, when he was in high school. So his mom was always around and active in it. And then in 2015, when we started working on the Norman Forward initiative, the quality of life package, similar to what MAPS in Oklahoma City, that a lot of people might be familiar with. But Norman's version is Norman Forward, and one of the projects we included was a new skate park, building a new Blake Baldwin skate park. And his mom wanted to make sure that it would still be named Blake Baldwin, and we assured her it would be. And,
and there you go.
And thankfully she was able to live long enough to be there when we opened it.
Cool.
And, that skateboard right behind you is that deck there.
Oh, dude, right on, yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, so, she passed away just 2-3 years ago, but it was cool that she got to live long enough to see us build a brand new skate park, and it's, I mean, every night you go over there, the lights are on until they go off at 11. Kids are out there all day.
Get them something to do, yeah.
Absolutely. And what was really cool about about that project was the original Blake Baldwin skate park, the features, the ramps and stuff that we had over there. We didn't just trash them. We actually, because they were just like, they were pieces and made of metal and stuff, and so took each piece and put one in different parks across the city.
Wow.
So there's parks across Norman that have a skate feature. So they don't have like a full-on deal, but they have a ramp or they have a thing. So I think there's 7 or 8 parks around Norman that have pieces of the original skate park.
That is cool.
That's
and
cool.
So yeah.
So and
they would do a mural thing every year
cool.
on the original pieces. They would have artists come out and do new murals on them and everything. And so that's all still on those pieces. And so they're sitting in the different parks.
That's
And
incredible.
so that's been a really cool thing. And so that's what I envision for Norman is, like I said, people that work. If they're working at McDonald's and they're working and that's their full-time job, to me they should be able to have a 1-bedroom apartment in Norman. They should be able to do that.
Man. You should be able to enjoy. That's what I want people to enjoy your life.
Maybe that's radical to some, but to me, if you've ever gone and eaten at McDonald's, and had someone serve you, even if it wasn't good, those people are working.
That's it.
They're working for a mega corporation too. Even if it's a local franchise, it's an art. But anyway,
dude,
people should be able to afford.
I worked for KFC before, and I was so poor. We took the chicken home every night.
Oh yeah.
And ate chicken every night. And then for breakfast the next morning, you had cold chicken.
Yep.
Then you went to work and you ate chicken.
Chicken all day.
Okay,
I worked at Highway Pizza for 7 years.
Corporate. One time we got in trouble for putting too much coleslaw in the stupid little deals. We had to take a spoon. Now I'm talking to the mayor right now, so I know you're busy, but I know we're going to have to do several more interviews with you, and I know you got other stuff to do, so I'm going to take this one and we're going to shut it off right now. Okay, cool?
Sure.
All right. Off like a herd of turtles, I'm talking with my good friend, Mayor Stephen Tyler Holman down here at the City Hall. Y'all need to check out what he's doing down here, doing a great, cool stuff in Norman. All right, pinging out of here. Ping.
Thanks, everybody.
Well, we're still live, man. I got to ping out. Let's see. Okay, and...